We're on the air with Lisa Nicolette. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, very good. Lisa, it's an honor having you on the show. I've actually known Lisa for a long time. We're here with my co-host, Tiffany Stearman.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
All right, very good. So, Lisa, I've known you for, how long have I known you for? Probably about 12 years, 15 years? Been a long time.
You've known me since
myself.
2003 when I moved to Columbus, Ohio.
I have 2003. See, I remembered that. She didn't remember how long she's known me for. I care. So, Miss Nicolette, where are you from, actually, originally?
I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where you're calling in from right now?
Yes, I'm in Pittsburgh right now.
I love it. So, you've had kind of an interesting life, and I want to understand, when I first met you, you were really into kind of studying to become, like, you were working in the Secret Service, you were a detective at that time, or what?
At the time,
you were
I
kind
had
of
just
mystery.
gotten out
Like
of the criminal justice field. I was in for 10 years, got totally burned out, and went into the corporate world of outside business-to-business sales.
Interesting, because I remember, like, when I used to meet Lisa, I'd be like, so Lisa, how's work? And she'd be like, it's fine. And I'm like, oh, so what exactly do you do? And she's like, it's kind of criminal justice. She was very, like, vague about what she did.
She was a spy, that's why.
She was probably spying on me at that time. She's probably all those love notes I write to your counselor or whatnot. So you got into the criminal justice system, and why did you leave?
Well, I just got burned out on it. There was a lot of corruption, and it can be a very difficult job in many ways that the public just doesn't see. Plus I got completely burned out, and I had friends that were succeeding in the corporate world, and they said, take your work ethic, your values, and everything else, and go to the corporate world. You'll do a whole lot better.
So you actually went to corporate America. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, most people are trying to get out of fucking corporate America, and you're actually going into corporate. I mean, the criminal justice system must be really horrible if you're leaving there, because corporate America seems like the most criminal place to be. But then again, look at me, Tim, and I'm wearing red pants today. Look, pretty much do
They're
whatever I want to do.
hammer pants. So, Lisa, you're missing his hammer pants.
I am. I'm sitting here wearing slippers right now. Okay, so you went to corporate America. So who did you go work for?
I went to work. My first job was Yellow Book USA.
I got to bring this up. I mean, you did very well in corporate America. You made a lot of money. And one of the interesting reasons that I brought you on this show is because you are an author and also a cancer survivor. So back when I met you in 2003, was it in 2008 you got diagnosed with breast cancer?
Yes.
Okay. And how did this affect your job in corporate America?
Well, at the time, I had just landed an executive level job in advertising sales for an even better company that would have put me up there even in a higher earning capacity than, say, a pharmaceutical sales rep. So that was golden. And when I got hit with the breast cancer diagnosis, I flew to Philadelphia that weekend to begin a new career, and I had to tell them, look, I just got a breast cancer diagnosis on Thursday afternoon. I'm going to need time off for treatment. Well, they pretty much let me go because, you just can't afford to get sick in the corporate world, especially in sales, because it's so fast-paced. So, I asked them, well, just give me time off, and I'm going to fight my way through this, and once I'm through radiation, I'm good. And they said goodbye.
So, Lisa, were you completely unemployed when you were going through that process?
Yes.
So, let me ask you this. You leave the criminal justice system. Okay, you start in corporate America, you get diagnosed with cancer, you get fired immediately. Now you got to be really pissed off. Okay, so I think, obviously the millions of people have cancer, and I'm not trying to lump you into a category or anything, but millions of people get cancer. But I've never heard of, so many people, they kind of, as they get cancer, they just get older, and they almost just sort of like get sent to the shed. Okay. And I spoke to you yesterday prior to bringing you on this show, and you'd mentioned to me something very interesting, which is, you were pretty young when you had cancer, and you had a lot more life to live. So you actually wrote a book called Fit Survivor. It's like an ebook, okay? And the hardest part that you struggled with wasn't actually just the cancer, but it was almost like an abandonment, like from corporate America, maybe friends, maybe people that were going to kind of support you after you had gone through like remission and so forth.
Well, when all this went on, I was unemployed, and I had by that time suffered, long-term unemployment and then long-term underemployment, because it got to the point that I had to take any kind of a job to survive, and I decided, I need some motivation. So, I went to local bookstores, Barnes and Noble, Borders, places like that, went online, and there was absolutely nothing motivational to a person that was more of a, young professional. It was all stuff geared towards maybe older people, say like a grandmother, maybe an older woman, an older man that was, retired and out of the workforce. And I thought, well, none of this stuff is going to, relate to me, because I was training at the time to compete in bodybuilding. So it was all kind of a shock, and everything came crashing down. And then I realized there's really nothing out there that's, that's motivational enough to pull you out of, this slump you've fallen into.
Right.
So to keep my sanity when I was going through radiation at the time, I was so depressed because I had pretty much sunk to the bottom. And I would take the radiation treatment in the morning, grab the laptop computer, and head out into the city of Pittsburgh. And I started, writing motivational type things. And I thought, well, if this keeps me going, I have to do this. And then, I thought, there's no books out there that are motivational for, a cancer patient or cancer survivor. Maybe I could be the first to write such a thing. And, that's what I did.
So you wrote this book called Fit Survivor, based upon the need for it in the marketplace, ultimately, for people like you that have gone through this. And what do you talk about in this book?
Well, in the book, what I talk about is, not just fighting, my way through cancer, but, what it's going to take to get back to life once you're through treatment. See, the majority of cancer patients, whether they're young or older, everything's like rushed. And then when you finally get through it, it's like, okay, where do I go from here? It's kind of like life temporarily stood still and kind of dead-ended. And then it's like, okay, I need to, get back to life, but how do I do this? Because no company wants to take a chance on you then, because you're considered more or less damaged goods. Plus, they're afraid you'll relapse, or you'll get sick again, or something will happen. So you become, a huge liability. And I decided, well, there's going to have to be another direction, to take. And at the time I was training to compete in bodybuilding, and I realized, well, regardless of what people say, I'm still going to follow through with that. I'm not giving that up. So that's another thing. It took just monumental motivation to go to the gym and still train against the odds, because now you have to dummy down your training 75% in terms of intensity and weight use, because you just don't have the endurance to get through a normal workout, because from the radiation you're just exhausted.
Right. So let me go to this final stage. You write this book. You are now cancer-free, right? When were you officially cancer-free? What year?
2008, when I had my surgery.
2008, you had your surgery and you were done. Okay, so now you're left in a really bad financial situation, and you've written this book. Obviously, it's downloadable. Where is it downloadable? On Amazon?
Yeah, that's on Amazon, Apple, okay. Barnes and Noble, any electronic format you can download it from. ebookit.com has the book also.
Okay, so this is definitely something, if anyone out there is suffering from cancer or knows a loved one that is suffering from cancer, or have just gotten diagnosed, or actually are back in remission or whatnot, this is a really great book, and I trust Lisa's a very intelligent person. She's obviously gone through a lot in her life. And I want to address your current day-to-day life now, because you basically woke up one day and said, fuck it, I'm going to start my own company. And now you are owning corporate America. So what business are you in right now?
Right now, there's actually two businesses. I started a commercial cleaning business a little over a year ago, and then I also am a personal trainer.
Okay, so you have a cleaning business. Is that lucrative for you?
I would say it's getting there, definitely. I'm earning right now close to what I did when I was in outside sales, but instead of working 60 hours a week, killing myself, I'm working about 60 hours a month.
Wow, I don't work 60 hours
Big
a year. I mean, I got problems. That's pretty good. You're way ahead of me, Lisa. And you started this cleaning company. How many employees do you have?
Right now, it's just myself. I'm looking to hire right now.
Jason,
In fact,
you can work for her.
I put an
Yeah,
ad
you want to hire me?
on. Yeah, I'll hire you.
Two ways I work my first day, and then she's like, "Here, clean this toilet. Here's a fucking brush." I'm like, I'm not cut out for this.
I was going to
job.
say you would quit for sure.
Oh, I might dust the pan. I might dust the top of the television. I might find something to do. So you started this cleaning company, and obviously you're doing very well in it. Are you going to keep expanding?
Yes, yeah, that's definitely my goal. In fact, what I'd really like to do is maybe hire wounded warriors, because one of the things I'm going to try to do is pay well above minimum wage, because nobody can live on minimum wage. And I did my own forecasting and figured out I could pay somebody probably $12 to $15 an hour, and even if I paid them $15 an hour, I would still make money.
Elon Musk, in an interview recently, said the starting a business is like chewing on broken glass and staring into the abyss. And I can definitely relate to how intense it is. And, obviously with you, do you live alone, Lisa?
I live with my mother.
Okay. And, you started in what? How old were you when you started this business past year?
Oh, I was 53.
You're 53. And by the way, if you can see Lisa on the screen right now, Lisa's actually in phenomenal shape. But now at 53 years old, you're going to literally go door to door in PA, banging on everyone's houses, asking them for business if they can clean houses. Do you think society has innately become weak? Society is just a bunch of pussies anymore.
Well, it's difficult today because, I think people are kind of, on one hand, being pushed around by, the trends, the job market, the economy, and a lot of people today are scared because the job market is kind of, it's very challenged, it's very different, the rules of the game have changed. And, a lot of people would always tell me, well, you're going to have to humble yourself, you're going to have to suck it up, you're going to have to swallow your pride. Well, it's not pride. The American way has always been to kind of stand on your own 2 feet and find a way to start a business without having to depend on somebody else and kiss somebody else's butt for an income.
Right. If you were going to give one piece of advice to somebody out there that A, has cancer, B, wants to write an ebook, or C, wants to start a business, what would you say?
Somebody that has cancer, I would tell them, look into alternative treatments, because one of my biggest regrets is going the conventional medical route. If I had to do over again, would have never taken radiation because it's just too taxing on the body.
Really?
I would have never taken the drug tamoxifen because, it just does too many things I don't like, and it has some pretty nasty side effects.
Interesting. Okay. So alternative methods is what you would recommend. And tell me a little bit about if somebody wants to write an ebook. Every day I hear somebody's writing a book, writing ebooks, downloadable, write, blog. So, at the end of the day, how many people actually say they're going to write a book and actually do it is a small fraction. What would you recommend?
For a book, I would recommend it's simple. Just grab a piece of paper. Don't type it on your computer. It stimulates your brain a little more when you have a blank piece of paper in front of you and you have to be creative enough to start writing. Start writing whatever comes to your mind. If there's something you wanted to write a book, maybe a fiction book or something based on what you're going through, start writing it.
Excellent. And what would you recommend for someone that wants to start their own business? Here you are at the age of 53. And you just wake up one day, moment of inertia, and you want to harness all of your talents, as I would say, unleash your inner Da Vinci, and start your own company. What would you give advice to somebody that wants to start their own business?
What I would tell them to do is, again, write down what kind of business they would want to start, and then look at the market. Make sure the market's not saturated, and if it is, find if there's a realistic way that you can, make your business stand on, make it better. Take a look at what you're good at. What are you good at? Not just what you enjoy, but what are you good at? And even if you have, an awesome to die for job, start a business on the side, because I have seen people in top-level positions get flushed out of corporate America. And as much as I hate to admit this, if they're over 35 years of age, chances are they're going to have a much harder time getting back into the workforce.
I hear this a lot. I have a friend of mine. He's actually 47, and which 47, I mean, it's really like middle-aged, basically. And he always says to me, the only reason he stays in corporate America, the only reason he's surviving right now is because he has a baby face. And that there are guys that are like 55, 56 that are in really good shape and healthy, but they're basically getting booted out of corporate America and they have nowhere to go. And some of these guys are going to live to 80 or 90 years old. They don't have retirement funds. And they're just not going to survive ultimately. So,
Yeah.
we really have to start finding alternatives, whether it be opening our own business or finding other alternative methods of making money.
Yeah, I recommend that to everybody. Even somebody as young as 30 can face age discrimination in certain industries. They want them young, fresh, right out of college. If you don't really make your mark by a certain age, not that you can't do it later in life, but one thing I don't believe in is just because you get older, you have to back down and dummy everything down. No, I've done just the opposite. I mean, at my age, I went for a magazine cover last summer. I went for Jet Set magazine. They wanted to find a female to represent the cover of Jet Set magazine. That's a magazine that's passed out on like airplanes, yachts, cruise ships, things like that. And I thought, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger always said, don't listen to the naysayers, make your own rules. Well, that's what I did. I broke all the rules, and I'm laughing about it.
I love it. Lisa, what is the name of your cleaning company?
Right now, I'm naming it Executive Cleaning, LLC.
I like it. Well, you certainly have the balls, you certainly have the patience, and you're a true inspiration to a lot of people that are listening to the show right now. We really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Jason.
You're a true ultra human. Thanks so much, Lisa. We'll chat with you shortly.
Okay.
All right, take care. How about that, Stiz?
It's great.
That's pretty insane.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's wrap up today for the Ultra Human Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Dhir. My lovely co-anchor, Tiffany Stimman, who has now vowed that she's going to go talk to 100 men on 100 different days.
No,
get
I
100
said
different
maybe
dates.
30. Maybe 30.
30, and she's going to...
Baby steps,
You
baby
got to give my
steps.
little love letter to counselor as well.
I will, yeah.
All right, very good, because I know she totally has a heart for me, Stiz.
I know, like I told you.
I told you. See, it's all about putting it out there. Gotta put it out there.
Well, you did.
Anyway, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next Ultra Human Podcast.